Hey, what's up everyone? In this video I will show you the entire process of getting an SSR77, A2 and A1. I also have an A1 down here. And I will just show you, what do I do before the game. I will also talk a little bit about the history of this project, and then in the end you will see me playing with it, adjusting the hop-up, cleaning the barrel, putting it together, all that kind of stuff you will see in this video, as well as some tips and tricks on how to set up this rifle in a way that you get the best experience. We have the SSR77A2 here in the 1.5 Joule black tip variant. In the US, you will get it with a red tip. I'm very excited to open this. It's one of our oldest projects. It was a lot of effort to get it to this point. I was having the A1 version at the Austrian military, so I was running around with this for a long time. And now having it in the way that, you guys will be getting it and in a nice presentation. Itchy fingers. Let's get into it. Ooh. Okay, just the cover. Remove the cover, of course, and you will see that the SSR77A2 and also the A1, they do actually come disassembled, transport reasons. With a barrel cleaning rod, very important, don't throw it away, you will need it. Manual, I read this manual already, so I don't need it. And then we have the body of the SSR77, and then we also have the barrel assembly, the barrel hop-up assembly, here with a plastic bag for protection against scratches, and then these two, silica gel bags, anti-moisture stuff, and then here on the side a mid-cap magazine. Now when it comes to marrying these two parts, there's a few things that you have to take care of. First of all, you don't want your magazine inside the gun, so don't assemble it like this, because there is a feeding tube in here. It gets pushed up by the magazine, and then when you insert the metal hop-up chamber and you ride it over that feeding tube, you can actually deform the feeding tube and you will have to, bend it back or get a spare part. Let's avoid this and let's just not have the magazine in there. You want to pull back the charging handle and you lock it in place by pulling it up like so. It will open your hop-up window and it will allow the barrel to be twisted into the receiver. Now when it comes to aligning, you will see at the bottom of the hop-up chamber the hole where the bees feed. And obviously, because the mag is from the bottom, it's gonna sit like this in there. So when you insert the barrel, you want to make sure that it's oriented in this way. And then this next thing is that you have a locking point here, this little knob, that will go into this groove right here. So just make sure everything aligns. Now we bring them together, again with the hop-up, with the feeding hole of the chamber facing downwards on the replica. Now the other barrel will fit very snug into the receiver because, all of these parts are machine and precision matched. So this is not the kind of AUG where you just, you put in the barrel, you pull it out again and you use it like a fidget toy. This is all precision machined. So, when you insert it, just be very careful. Handle everything with care, so it's good. Here, that's the friction I'm talking about. So this is not, it doesn't just drop in and lock. You really have to push it in there and you might feel some resistance. Also, if, when you look in here, I'm not sure if you're gonna be able to see that, but you will see the nozzle in here on that open window. And in case your hop-up chamber pushes back your nozzle, just put your finger in there, maybe push the nozzle down or up a little bit until it goes into the chamber, and then you're golden. Now put the handguard onto the gun, press this knob down right here. You have this little mushroom, you pull it down, you twist the handguard until everything aligns nicely. Again, here also there will be some friction because this is all very snug. Locks in place. You see here, now it's aligned. And now you can bring the charging handle forward and it locks the whole thing. Now this doesn't move anymore and you will see there's just, it's like one piece. It's very, very solid. Again, don't do this with having the magazine inside. Now I'm gonna clean the barrel and you might ask yourself, why didn't I do this in the disassembled state? You can do that, but again, once the gun is together, just leave it like this, only take it apart for transport, but don't, fidget with it. Don't remove it, put it back in, because, you might think you have the routine for it and you just smash it together, and that's not good. You really have to assemble it with care. So we're gonna do that while the barrel is inside the gun. You can use the barrel cleaning rod, or if you have one of our maintenance kits, you can also use the collapsible one. So this one right here, if you have one. You can use for barrel cleaning the tissues in the maintenance kit, or you can also use anything really. You can use toilet paper or kitchen cloths. Is it called kitchen cloths? Kitchen wipes. And you just cut a little piece about this size. Now you want to put it through the barrel cleaning rod. You just fold it. And if you're asking yourself why I'm doing this, it is because, you know, these guns have been on a container ship, being shipped, they've been in the factory and then in our warehouse. So, you know, some dust might have gotten into the barrel. Then also on the first couple shots, some of the lubrication from the gearbox gets into the barrel. We want to wipe all of that stuff out. Before we push in the barrel cleaning rod, we want to make sure the hop-up is off. For this, you pull back the charging handle, you lock it in place. Whoa, sorry. Here you see the arrow of adjustment. You want to bring it to 0, so against the arrow. Here we go. You can bring it forward again. And now you put some rubbing alcohol onto this tissue. Just soak it basically. And what I like to do is I like to turn it a bit. Oh. What I like to do then is you turn it a bit. So, you know, all the excess rubbing alcohol just gets off. And now you can push it into the barrel by just, you know, wrapping it a little bit and pushing it in. Now you should be able to very gently push in that rod. If it's too hard to push in, that's not good because, you know, all the friction, if that goes to the bucking, you could mess something up. So make sure it's very easy to push it inside. Just turn it, bring it all the way back. Then you repeat this until you don't see any dirt anymore on there. Okay, this gun is very, very clean. We do clean them after assembly, but again, you know, dust can still get inside even when they're packed. If it comes out, you know, grayish or black even, then just take a new cloth and repeat this process until the replica is clean. For this process, I don't recommend using anything but rubbing alcohol because it is a dissolvent. It dissolves oils basically, then it gets soaked up by the tissue and you pull it out. Water and stuff like this just doesn't work the same way. Also, having water in your replica is never a good idea for, you know, stuff can oxidize and so on. Next, we're gonna move to chronoing the gun. And for this, I want to put the hop up to a middle position. So now I'm at 0. You know, I can try how many turns can I do until I'm all the way at max. Just get a feeling for it. You will have a hard stop at max. Okay, and now you want to turn it halfway back, about, just ish, you know. Because with 0 hop-up, you will have higher power. And with a lot of hop-up, you have lower power. So you want to find the middle ground because this is most likely how you're going to use it at the field. So we are in the middle. You bring the charging handle forward again. And now it's time to chrono. For this, I will remove the butt pad. For butt pad removal, best is to just push it from the side here on the highest point. You just push it and you lift it. And it's gonna come out. Also, you can here assist on this cutout here on the rubber pad. You know, here we made a space for a finger. So you can basically, you know, push from the side and then pull it out here. Inside here, you find the Dietz connector. I will put this big battery inside here. That's a 1800 milliamps, 11.1 for the 1.5 joule version. Stick batteries also fit. The ones that we use in the SSR4 also fits in here. But this is quite a power-hungry replica with, you know, high rate of fire and all of this. So having a bigger battery will give you slightly higher RPS. Just keep that in mind, especially on the 1.5 joule version. I'll put in the battery, plenty of space in here, and you lock it. You heard and now we put on the butt pad. You heard the 3 beeps when I connected the battery. This is the electronics inside this replica, which tells you, you know, everything is functional and the gun is ready to shoot. At this point, it's a good idea to put on safety glasses because now we're gonna start shooting. I will use 0.32 gram BBs. It gave me the best experience. Just push it into your mag. Now, when it comes to these magazines, they have quite a strong spring inside. So it's even a good idea when you get them, you just load them fully. You leave them, you know, for 1-2 nights just fully loaded. Because otherwise there's a lot of stack pressure and it can influence the power output of the gun. But again, this thing usually solves itself after you fill the magazine. These are quite big mid caps. I will run 3 of them and that should be more than enough for the game today. So let's chrono that thing. 1.42, 1.43, 1.40, 1.41. Good. Take out the mag. On this AEG, as on many, if you take out the mag, there's still one BB inside. So, shoot a couple of times just to make sure it's safe. The SSR77 comes with a very advanced ETU, which allows me to program the semi-function, the full auto function, and the pre-cocking. This is actually very important in an AEG, and I'm gonna tell you once we go into the programming mode. The SSR77 has a progressive trigger, which means I can fire it in semi, just like so. But I can also go into full auto by just pressing the trigger further. So first semi, and now, if I need it, it goes into full auto. Now this is very, very useful if you're in an outdoor area where full auto is allowed. You shoot a person, you wait, do they raise their hand, do they call a hit, yes or no, or they don't call it, now you go into full auto. This, however, is not very good in CQB because the rules are semi only, and if you do that, not ideal. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna program this SSR77 because it has actually a ton of features when it comes to programming. And especially on this platform, it's important because this has been one of the biggest limitations of the Airsoft AUG. To go into the programming mode, you fire on semi and you leave the trigger on semi. You just keep it pressed and you wait for 20 seconds. We made it 20 seconds because it can actually happen in the field that you press it for like 5 or 7 seconds before you go into full auto. Good. You hear 2 beeps, you hear 1 beep, 2 beeps, 3 beeps. To get more infos on how to program it, there is a programming tree you can find on our website. But now we're gonna program the full auto function. We're gonna deactivate it because we don't want it in CQB. 2 beeps, press the trigger. 1 beep, 2 beep, 3 beeps. Now press the trigger again. So it confirmed. So now on semi, it fires semi. And now on full auto, it does nothing. Now you have a semi-only AUG and it's totally field legal for any CQB site and you not accidentally full auto dump a whole mag onto a person. What it can also do is it can go into binary. I'm just gonna show you how that works. You go into programming again, you hold it for 20 seconds. There we go. First beep, I pull. 1 and the second. Good, I pull again. Now the semi is actually binary trigger. I'm gonna show you what that means. I pull the trigger, it fires, I release, it fires again. Now this feature is especially on a bullpup quite neat because bullpup triggers can never compete with swiveling triggers. And if you still want that, high semi rate, you can just put it into binary and you can outcompete pretty much any person with, a standard AR-15. To show you how fast I can shoot. Really fast. And that on a bullpup, I think is, unmatched right now. For the game today, I'm not sure about the rules. Some fields don't allow binary, some do. I'll just see in the game brief and adjust it on the go because, and I think that's one of the neat features, you don't need a programming card, you don't need to connect with your phone, you just do it on the fly and you can program it however you need once you remember the programming tree, which is, it might look complicated, but once you look at the tree, it all makes sense. There's one thing I totally forgot in the preparation, and that's also a very cool feature about the SSR77. The ETU enables pre-cocking adjustment, which means that you can adjust where the piston stops in your gearbox. On most AGs in the market, the piston stops, just in front, which means when you pull the trigger, the piston must go all the way back and then shoot forward. This takes time, and on the 77, it sounds like this. Now we're gonna program it in a way that the piston basically goes forward, shoots the BB, then it pre-cocks all the way back here and it stays in this position, which means when I pull the trigger again, then the piston only has to go back, just a little bit and the gun shoots immediately. The setting has 5 different positions, so you can choose where you want to piston to be here. If you pre-cock too aggressively and you have a very heavy battery, it could happen that you shoot twice. But generally speaking, for the best performance, you want to get the pre-cocking as aggressive as possible. For this, you pull the trigger on semi and you wait for 20 seconds. You heard the beep. 1, 2 beeps, 3 beeps. Now I press the trigger on semi for 2 seconds. 1 beep, 2 beeps, 3 beeps, 4 beeps, 5 beeps, I press the trigger again, and now it's confirmed. Now I have the most aggressive pre-cocking level. If I want it somewhere in the middle, it would be pre-cocking position 3, but I want 5. Now listen to this. Do you hear the difference? There's much less wind up. You don't have this noise in the beginning, but the gun just fires instantly. Back to the video. The rules at the CQB field allow 1.5 joules. However, I will show you how I would change the power if I would have to. For this, you just take out the battery. There we go. And you're gonna take a flathead screwdriver, ideally a bigger one than this one, but this should also work. And here in the back, you see a big flathead screw. You just unscrew it. Screw falls out. Now the purpose of this is to align the spring guide perfectly in the gearbox, because if you tighten the screw, it just, brings your spring guide into a perfectly straight position. The rifle will also work without it, but it just optimizes the performance. Now you push in that screwdriver, you turn the spring guide 90 degrees and it comes right out. So this is the quick spring exchange. It's a true quick spring exchange. You don't have to take out the gearbox. You can now exchange the spring, or you can add FPS adjuster rings and whatnot to get the power that you desire. I don't need it. I already crowed it and it works perfectly for me. So I'm gonna put it back in. You turn it until you hear a click. Yes, there we go. Clicked into position. Make sure to not insert the spring guide and only turn it, you insert it like this. If you only turn it 45 degrees and you take out the screw, that's not good. Turn it all the way until it clicks in at, 90 degrees rotation. All right, I'm gonna put the battery back in, but I'm not gonna connect it for transport. Just generally a good idea. You never know what happens. The ETU does drain the battery a little bit. Now it's not a problem if you drive to the field for a couple hours, but you shouldn't leave it plugged in for multiple hours. And during transport, just for safety reasons, just keep it unplugged. Now will come the fun part, because we can equip this rifle fully, and the A2 really has all the mounting space that you might desire, and it's actually quite unique for the AUG platform, because M-LOK handguards and nice M-LOK handguards are very rare in the Airsoft world for this platform. I think there's not even, I don't think there's a single one out there right now. This is gonna take me at least half an hour, probably an hour, because there's a lot of options of optics in this room, actually behind the camera. So I will just show you the final results right now. There we go. A fully equipped A2 with all the stuff that you can imagine on it. Let's go from the back to the front. We have a flip-up magnifier. Honestly, it just looks really cool, and it's a nice feature tool on top of your rifle. In front, we have a red dot on a riser. You need that riser because otherwise the magnifier will be too high, and it's actually useful anyways, because on an AUG, where you press your cheek or your mast against, there's quite little height difference to the actual rail. So, if you wear a mask, rising the optic is definitely not a bad idea. Moving forward, we have a vertical front grip and a M-LOK push button for the flashlight, for the rifle mounted flashlight. It just falls right into place, and that's going to be really useful, especially in CQB, to blind people, to light out these dark spots. Zoom cam mount here also quite nice on this platform. I have the drop from the rail, from the optic rail to the handguard. Zoom cam does not obstruct any views. It sits low enough that when I look through my red dot, I don't see it at all, which is a very neat feature of this platform. Tracer because of CQB. And then also have a selfie cam mounted here at the bottom. That's a custom mount. We don't offer that actually, but I think very little people will need this. Now there's many sling mounting options when it comes to this platform. I like to run it with a QD here in the middle and then one in the back. Just hangs really naturally on you. You can adjust here the length, put your arm under, and it hangs very nicely on my body. I can bring it up. I can do my shoulder transitions and all that. So, I can also bring it to the back. And it's, compared to the A1, actually quite an advantage when it comes to sling mounting points. This one is good to go. I can pack it straight into the gun bag. I can also take it apart for transport, but what I recommend here is to not take it apart by removing the handguard and the barrel. But actually, I suggest that you take out the mag for it, also very important. Don't forget about that. And then you can push out this cross bar here. You just push it out from the right side. Don't push it out all the way, but just a little bit until you hear the click. And then you can pull the entire assembly towards the front, just like that. And now you can transport it like this. You know, it's a neat little package. When you assemble it back together, again, make sure that your magazine is not inside. And also very important is that during transport, you push that bar back into place. And in case it happens to you that you push the bar all the way out, don't do that, because there is a metal plate in here. It can fall out and then you have to put it back in. So try to avoid it. Shouldn't fall out by itself. But in case it falls out, it actually did a little bit here. Just push it back into place. Make sure you insert it this way. So here's the cutout. You push it in from the right side from your perspective. Here we go. Push it down. Here you have to have your finger in here. Push it in. Good. And again for assembly, bring it into place. Don't have the mag in. And nicely align everything. Put it back together. Here again, make sure that if you open your hop-up window, make sure the nozzle goes into the chamber. And there we go. Push the crossbar in. And your rifle is assembled again. Good. I will play with both the A2 and the A1 for today's game. So I will repeat the entire process now one more time with the A1, but I will not show you the entire process. I will just bring you to the end of it. So we'll skip all that. On the A1, I did basically nothing when it comes to the furniture, because that's how you run it, you know. This is meant to be a complete package. It comes with an optic. You have the iron sights on top for close engagements. You have a magnification optic for further ranges. Front grip is already there, and the cameras, well, I need the cameras for the purpose of this video. If you don't run cameras, you can literally run it stock. I did put a trace, however, because I'm playing CQB and I want you guys to see the BBs. It is lighter than the A2. And you know, it comes with its advantages. It's a very ergonomic, especially for the time when it came out, and still is a very, very ergonomic rifle. You can also flip forward the front grip if you go prone and you want to support on, I don't know, a sandbag, a tire, whatever is on the field. All right, I will bring both of these replicas to the game, and I will show you right there how I adjust my hop-up, and then we're gonna go straight into the gameplay. Now, as for the hop-up adjustment, on the SSR77, you just bring back the charging handle, you lock it by going upwards. It exposes the hop-up chamber. You also have the indication of, you know, what way you have to turn the hop-up. Let's just try it out. So I want a bit more. Means I have to follow the direction of the arrow, and I turn the dial down just a little bit. Try again. Good. And that's how you set the hop-up. I've never been to this field before, so it will be quite a challenge to compete against people who know all the good angles and spots around here. For my first round, I choose to go with the A2. The mounted flashlight will help me to spot players in dark areas, and the red dot is just faster for target acquisition than the low magnification scope on the A1. I will switch later to the A1 anyways, even if it's more suited for outdoor play. Mostly because I can't wait to use a replica of the firearm I was trained on back in the days. While this AG platform is not known for fast semi, with the ETU and optimized trigger built into the SSR77, I can totally compete against all fine-tuned M4s out there. With all the stuff mounted to the A2, you would think it's heavy, but due to the bullpup design and the gearbox placed in the rear of the body, it's very well balanced. Shorter transitions feel really natural on the SSR77, probably because I had to practice these for weeks at the Austrian military. The transparent mags are great. I always know how many rounds I've left. A bit challenging to see the BB count in these low light conditions, but holding the mag against light does do the trick for me. One on the right. That guy falling was not an exception on this game day, as this field also doubles as a paintball arena. The paint on the ground is super slippery and I'm having quite a hard time keeping my eyes up while constantly slipping around. He's out, he's out! He's out. The 180 round magazine capacity is a great addition to the platform. I remember running 80 rounds low caps on my very first AUG I owned, which was rather little compared to what other people were running in their AEGs. For this game I kept both platforms at standard barrel lengths, to show you guys the out-of-the-box performance. However, for future CQB games I will totally unscrew the barrel extension and drop in a short inner barrel to have one of these slim tracer units within the handguard, for an overall more compact setup. This is one of the great benefits of bullpup platforms overall. You still get great power efficiency at 1.5 joules even in a compact package. Nice. Hit! Switching to the A1, now this is more for outdoor play, but you still have the iron sights on top, so should be doable as well to run it here in CQB. With less stuff mounted on the A1, I can immediately feel the weight difference. That was accidental full auto, due to the progressive trigger design. I totally forgot to deactivate full auto, as it is not allowed in this field. When we designed this product, we had that exact situation in mind and made sure that full auto can be deactivated on the fly. Just hold the trigger on semi for 20 seconds and you go right into programming mode. Feels great to be playing with such a familiar form factor, and I can't wait to bring it outdoors for the upcoming matches. Ah, you got me first. Now you're still in. What did I learn during this game, and what are my conclusions on these two models? Now the A1, I really appreciate it. You know, just when I touch it, it reminds me of my time at the military. It's very authentic in the way it feels. However, for CQB, you know, I was missing a red dot. You can of course look along the barrel and do what airsofters do. You know, you just track the BB and you see where you're shooting and you correct. But in CQB, you know, being able to peek and have your red dot immediately where you need it is an advantage. So I do recommend this platform more for people who like to play outdoors. Also, weight-wise, because this is, you know, a very bare bone kind of replica, I did prefer this one over the A2, but I think that's also because, I mean, just look at this. I just threw so much stuff onto this platform, which made it in the end a bit heavier. I did not run a sling on the A2, and because it's quite light, that didn't cause any issues for me. Also because it's a very, very balanced replica, you know, like the center of mass is just right above my hand, which makes it a very nice balanced platform. If I would bring it out again for a CQB game and I only had this model, I would definitely convert it to a short barrel, which you can do by just separating the outer barrel. You can basically unscrew it here, change your inner barrel, and then you have a very, very short, you know, like this length kind of replica. Other than this, Well, the programming helped out a lot because you saw the situation where I full autoed someone accidentally because I forgot to deactivate full auto on this one. You know, I did it on the A2 but not on the A1. That was very neat actually, realizing that when we developed this platform, we thought of this situation and we said, okay, it must be possible to do it in the game, you know, without without a phone and without a PC and a programming card or whatnot. And that totally worked. So that was very nice. Good. Then as for the A2, I didn't use the flip-up magnifier because it was quite close quarter. It was my first game there, so I overestimated the distances a bit. But you know, in an outdoor environment, this can definitely come in handy. It was a bit heavy because of all the stuff that's on there. Because you know, weight-wise, these two are quite similar. But of course, if you do this with it, then yeah, you get the idea. Ergonomics-wise, both of them, you know, obviously they're very similar. I did appreciate, however, the possibility to light up dark corners because it was extremely dark in this field, even a bit too dark, I think. I prefer light fields because people can't hide that much, but it is what it is. And I could, you know, spot these people very easily with the flashlight. If you've always been looking for an AUG and you're on a bit of a higher budget and you have the demands that you have on a high-end, you know, AR-15, let's say, then definitely check out these. We really tried our best to, you know, finally make an AUG that feels proper, you know, that's solid, that doesn't rattle, that shoots accurate, that has modern M-Log furniture and all that. I'm just glad it's finally out because we've been working on this again. I would even say a bit too long because it is a niche gun and, you know, lots of resources went into this project. It was really nice. It was a good reminder of the time at the military and yeah, just glad that it's finally out.